I'm happy to welcome you. We continue our working day. Now I would like to invite Colonel Andriy Lysenko, the anti-terrorist operation spokesperson. Andriy, you're welcome. Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. Ukraine is executing the conditions of Minsk agreements. Yesterday, the first stage of withdrawal of heavy weaponry was completed. 100mm cannons Rapira and Ruta were withdrawn. Starting from yesterday, the second stage of withdrawal of military equipment started, including 152mm artillery systems Akatsiya. Also, the Grad systems are being withdrawn. According to the latest data, the armed forces of Ukraine are ready, starting from tomorrow, to start withdrawing Uragan systems. Redislocation of heavy weaponry to the prepared sites is taking place under the monitoring of the monitoring group of OSCE and representatives of Ukrainian and international mass media. But in case of any attempts of assault of the militants, the commandership is ready to quickly return the equipment to the combat positions. At the same time, the enemy continues active movement of their forces in Volnovakha directions, and also they're trying to disguise, to hide their military equipment in storages. The groupings of militants are growing in all the directions. The strengthening of enemy positions on the territories which are under their control near Donetsk continues. Yesterday, the militants shelled at our positions 35 times, and the places that were shelled at are Shastya, Lugansk in Artemivsky direction, near Donetsk airport, Shirokino near Mariupol. At the same time, after midnight in the zone of ATO, it was relatively quiet. Also, 5 times the peaceful settlements were shelled at Donetsk direction. In the result of the mortar shelling of Avdiivka, one person, the employee of the State Service on Emergency Situations, was killed. According to reconnaissance data, the Baltsevsky Railway is restored. The enemy is using it to transport equipment and military armaments to this region. On the 3rd of March, there was registered the unloading of ammunition from the wagons. At the same time, from the beginning of March, the war operation of Lugansk Teplovoz company was stopped. As instructed by Russian curators of bands, the company has to dismiss more than 1,000 people. This way, the militants demonstrate that they are not planning to restore the peaceful life in Donbass. They want only war. During the last 24 hours, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was killed, 1 was wounded. Ukrainian special services are detaining the agents of Russian special services. In Dnipropetrovsk region, 2 local citizens were detained who are suspected in creating internet resources via which they were disseminating the calls to the change of power and the violation of territorial integrity of Ukraine, and they were raising money for the bands of DNR and LNR. The criminals were trained in training camp in Belgorod, Russian Federation. When they were detained, the armaments, munitions and equipment for communication were confiscated. Yesterday in Kharkiv region, Security Service of Ukraine eliminated the diversion in the reconnaissance group of the enemy. They detained 5 persons. These people were specially trained in the military camp in Tambov, and they were subordinate to curators of the chief reconnaissance intelligence department of the Russian Federation. The electric detonators, the grenades were confiscated. Besides that, the special literature was found the literature was published in Russia, also the insignia of terrorist organizations. Also in Donetsk region, 3 citizens of Ukraine who, as instructed by Russian special services, were collecting information about the forces of ATO in Slavyansk-Kramatorsk and Artemivsk, were disclosed that the diversive activists were recruited by the militant with the nickname Onegin, and they were coordinating their activity with the leader of the band and the officer of special services with the nickname Khmury. Also, in Lugansk region, the border guards detained the citizens of Ukraine who could be involved into the activity of illegal armed groups. 27-year-old man had the maps of eastern regions of Ukraine with the marks on them. One more citizen was detained at the cross point via Ukrainian-Russian border in Kharkiv region. The competent bodies were informed about his involvement into activity of illegal armed groups. Besides that, the man was saying that he's supporting criminal activities of the bands of DNA and LNA. It was found out that this person worked in the so-called organization Military Traffic Police of Shiveliki Voiska Donskoye, of the great troop of Donskoy of Lugansk LNR. We several times informed about the conflicts, robbery among the so-called Kazakhs and LNR. The Ukrainian army is enhancing its combat capacity. Servicemen and artillerists who joined the armed forces of Ukraine are now trained at the military test field in Zhytomyr region. They are executing the combat shooting at day and at night. They are working on the task of eliminating the immovable targets. In Dnipropetrovsk region, the active stage of the training of military continues. Our defenders are learning engineering. They learn the tactical and medical preparation skills. The experienced officers and majors and sergeants are training during these classes.
Ukrainian patriots continue to support our defenders. Volunteers and charity organizations have handed over to our military a special tank truck, a water tank, ZIL 130. This tank allows to deliver up to 2,000 liters of technical and drinking water to destinations in one go. The Ukrainian authorities apply all the efforts in order to support our military and the victims among the peaceful residents of Donbass. The government allocates 1.8 billion hryvnia to enterprises to compensate for the salary to those mobilized. Besides, yesterday in the city of Nikopol, Dnipropetrovsk region, the transit town for temporary residents of IDPs started to work. The town can house 456 people, and the houses are equipped with beds, bed linen, furniture, kitchen utensils, and hygienic means to match the quantity of people. In Dnipropetrovsk region, 5 transit towns were erected in the cities of Dnipropetrovsk, Dnipro-Dzerzhinsk, Kryvyi Rih, Pavlograd, and Nikopol. Also, Donbass receives humanitarian help from foreign friends of Ukraine. Through the transit point Krakivets in Lviv region, 5 lorries with humanitarian cargo crossed the border through this crossing point, and the total amount of weight of the cargo is over 110 tons. It came from Czech Republic, from the organization People in Need, to the city of Slavyansk. Also, Dobropilya district of Donetsk region got humanitarian aid from the Red Cross. On the 3rd of March, military servicemen from National Guards from Zaporizhia came back to perform their combat duty in the anti-terrorist operation zone after this. At the same time, 75 law enforcers from the Special Battalion Lviv went to the east of Ukraine, and this time they took along gifts from volunteers and charity organizations, including an ambulance and 2 jeeps. Yesterday, the U.S. Senate held hearings on the Ukrainian issue. The expert of the American Council for Foreign Affairs, Stephen Blank, said that the number of Russian troops and illegal armed formations in the east of Ukraine is over 43,000 people. In particular, the number of Russian regular troops in the territory of Donetsk and Luhansk regions amounts to 14,400 people. He emphasized that these units have tanks of the latest models, APCs and combat infantry vehicles, hundreds of artillery batteries, modern means of radio electronic combat warfare, and another 29.4 thousand Russian troops are in the occupied Crimea and 55.8 thousand along the border of East Ukraine, the expert said. Also, the U.S. plans to allocate to Ukraine over $500 million in 2016. Victoria Nuland said. The European investigators confirmed the guilt of Russia in the crash of the Malaysian Boeing. The Netherlands prosecutor's office said that the Boeing was destroyed by the Buk missile launched from a Russian battery, sooner of all by a Russian crew. This is being corroborated by numerous photo and video recordings and also by witnesses. The President of the US, Barack Obama, said that sanctions against Russia introduced on the 6th March of 2014 will continue. He said that actions and politics of the Russian government as far as the annexation of Crimea is concerned, as well as the use of force against Ukraine, are of extreme danger to the national security and foreign policy of the USA. And now another breathtaking story from the anti-terrorist operation zone. Recently, the militants have spread a news on the internet that said that they as if took the village Krymsky in Luhansk region. Our military journalists yesterday went to this settlement, and the front line is being made by best units of the 18th Air Mobile Brigade and 24th Mechanized Brigade. The guys in trenches are openly laughing at the separatist news. And in the fields around trench shelters, there is a lot of destroyed Russian machinery which the Kremlin is generously given to their puppets. Expert shelling from mortars, grenade launchers, tanks, and artillery have transformed the armored pride of the Russian defense industry into a heap of scrap metal. Krymsky has suffered very much from the shellings by the militants. However, the residents of the village are gradually coming back. Andriy, a resident from Krimsk, said that real bandits were those who called themselves our liberators. We were just robbed in the transition points for refugees. Tomorrow, on the 6th of March, there will be a planned withdrawal of a heavy armament of the armed forces of Ukraine from the contact line, in particular multiple rocket launchers Uragan. If you want to cover this event and to get information from, as they say, the horse's mouth, you should call the numbers that you see on the screen and coordinate your actions in the press center of the anti-terrorist operation.
І в нього була тільки оперативна інформація щодо гуманітарного конвою з Росії. Чи він вийшов, що там було в цих 166 машинах? Якщо можете, уточніть.
Вантажівки з так званого гуманітарного конвою залишили територію України порожніми. Що саме було завезено на територію України цим конвоєм, достеменно невідомо, але близько третини вантажівок вони були паливно-заправними машинами і перевозили лише пальне.
Дякую. Колеги, чи є запитання? Дякую, Андрій Миколаївичу.
Дякую всім.
По ситуації в зоні АТО завтра зранку Анатолій Стельмих, Владислав Селезньов і 12:30 полковник Лисенко. Наш наступний сьогоднішній брифінг о 14:15.